You ever had a day where just painting your fence turns into a showdown that changes a whole town? That's how it started for me. I mean, I've seen some neighbor drama in my time, but getting the cops called on you for choosing the wrong color? Yeah, that happened, and it was just the first domino. So there I was, out by my old family cabin, sun shining, radio humming some classic rock, brush in hand, and a can of teal paint beside me. That teal, man, it reminded me of summers at the ocean with my folks before life got complicated. I'm halfway down the fence when I hear this high-pitched click-clack on my driveway gravel, and I know right away, Brenda Holloway's on the warpath again. If you've never met someone like Brenda, count your blessings. She's the HOA president, self-declared queen of Cedar Hollow, and her power suit probably cost more than my whole wardrobe. Hair perfect, lipstick brighter than a stop sign, and a look that could freeze lava. She marches up, voice shrill as she points at my fence. "What do you think you're doing?" she yells, like I'm spray painting the town hall. I tell her, real calm, "Just painting my fence, Brenda." But that only makes her madder. She's waving her phone, quoting HOA rules, talking about section this and subsection that, and I can't help but laugh. Because my place? It's never been in the HOA. Never will be. My family's owned this land since before she was born. Right then, Margaret, my neighbor who's been around forever, wanders over, mug of coffee in hand. She backs me up, says our property is exempt, grandfathered in before the HOA ever existed. But Brenda's not having it. She threatens lawsuits, says she'll call the cops, and storms off, heels digging craters in my driveway. Next thing I know, Sheriff Luke shows up. The poor guy looks about as tired as I feel, hat in hand, probably wondering why he's here for a fence. He checks my deed, gives me a wink, and tells Brenda, loud enough for the whole block, my place predates the HOA by 50 years, no violations. Brenda's so mad she turns the color of a ripe eggplant. But instead of giving up, she doubles down. That night, I see my cabin plastered on the HOA social page. Brenda's post calls it a trashy eyesore. Her followers pile on, trash-talking my family home. My friend Ryan, who works with me at the garage, says, "Boss, want me to dig up dirt on her?" And I'm thinking, yeah, maybe it's time. Because Brenda? She's got to have some skeletons in that designer closet. Sure enough, the next morning Brenda's on my doorstep with legal papers, telling me I've got 30 days to tear down my fence or she'll take me to court. I almost spit out my coffee laughing. She has no idea who she's dealing with. That land, I own every inch, plus acres of valley she doesn't even know exist. My family played the long game, buying up land for decades. Brenda's fighting for a fence, and I'm holding the deed to half the county. But she's relentless. Graffiti pops up on my new fence. Asterisk tear it down asterisk in angry red. Then Brenda posts a video in a fake HOA meeting room, calling for my property's demolition. Something about it feels off, so Margaret and I study the video. The logo's fake. The rules she quotes don't exist. Ryan confirms it. She shot the video in her basement, made up everything. A day later, a guy in a cheap suit comes snooping, says he's an HOA enforcer, but bails when I ask for ID. Ryan follows Brenda and catches her meeting with a slick developer, Marcus Webb. Now the pieces click. Brenda's trying to scare me into selling so they can make a fortune off my valley. They offer $100,000. My land's worth millions. When I refuse, Brenda threatens to ruin me with complaints and legal fees. What she doesn't know is I've got every deed, every document. So when she organizes a protest, I show up with a folder thick as a phone book. I lay out every parcel, North Valley, Eastern Ridge, even the land the HOA building sits on. The crowd's jaws drop. Margaret checks the county records on her phone. Everything checks out. Suddenly, folks realize Brenda's been picking fights with the guy who owns their meeting hall. Her developer buddy goes pale. Brenda sputters, calling me a liar. Ryan shows up waving our community investment plans. I never had any, but Brenda doesn't know that. The crowd flips. Questions fly. Why is Brenda so obsessed with my cabin? Why meet with developers? Why the dirty tricks? As folks scatter, Brenda's alone, promising revenge. But Brenda's not done. She brings in the fire marshal, says my cabin's a wildfire risk, files IRS complaints about my garage, tries to get the whole town to turn on me. Margaret drops by with a casserole, worried Brenda's gossiping about me at the garden club, claiming my place is one lightning strike from disaster. Then Ryan hears Brenda on the phone with her cousin, Something about an IRS audit. That's when it hits me. She's trying to wipe me out, not just the fence, but my livelihood. I call my accountant my lawyer. They tell me, document everything. So I hang a sign on my fence, thanking Cedar Hollow for decades of support, and share my family's story online. The response blows me away. Old neighbors, even folks I barely know, come out in support. But Brenda's crowd keeps up the firestorm. A few days later, I get a slick email offering triple market value for my land if I act fast. Smells like Brenda's latest shell company. Ryan traces it back. Yep, Marcus Webb again. They're desperate. By now, I'm tired but not beaten. I find an old contact of Brenda's, Patricia Williams, a retired teacher who lost her life savings in one of Brenda's real estate scams. We talk, and I realize Brenda's history goes deep. Scams in Florida, Arizona, Nevada. She's run this playbook before. The final showdown comes at a packed town meeting. Brenda struts to the podium, says my cabin's a danger, pushes for eminent domain so the town can seize my property for a park. She flashes slides of my cabin looking run down, graphs showing tanking property values, then dangles a $3 million state grant if the land goes public. People murmur, tempted by the cash. Margaret stands up, calls Brenda out for meeting with developers. Sheriff Luke backs her up, and the room starts turning. I stand, play a recording Ryan got. Brenda caught saying she'll get rich once I'm out. Then I introduce Patricia and other victims. Each testifies to Brenda's scams. Her support evaporates. Mayor Thompson suspends the meeting pending investigation. Brenda storms out, but Ryan snags her folder. Inside are forgeries, fake complaints, proof she orchestrated everything. Now the local paper runs a story. HOA president's troubled past raises questions about land grab attempt. Brenda's spin doctors try painting me as the villain, but I call another town meeting, play security footage of a fake reporter Brenda sent to my cabin, trying to bait me with false accusations. Margaret exposes her live, and the lie crumbles. Then, with the whole town watching, I bring in Brenda's old boss on a video call. He describes how she was fired for fraud and blackmail. The sheriff has had enough. Brenda's arrested in front of everyone, live streaming her meltdown as she's cuffed and led away. But I'm not done. 3 weeks back, right after Brenda started this war, I signed every acre my family owned into a conservation trust. That's 800 acres, never to be developed, never for sale. When I reveal this at the final meeting, the whole room erupts. Brenda's empire is finished. Her investors bail, her lawyer quits. And then I drop one last bombshell. Security footage showing Brenda herself spray painting my fence. Now she faces fraud, vandalism, theft, conspiracy, her entire reputation, years of scheming, destroyed by her own hand. My cabin is safe, my family's legacy protected, and Cedar Hollow's got a nature preserve instead of a strip mall. Some folks call it karma. Others say it's just fighting back with the truth. Me? I just wanted to paint my fence in peace. Ever had a bully come after you and live to tell the tale? Share your stories below. Who knows? Maybe your next cup of coffee will turn into an epic showdown too. And let's be honest, whose side are you on? Community or control? Let's hear it.